What's up, guys? Jaydaniel here, my co-host Victor Marshall, and this is the Sales at Home podcast. Today, what are we going to talk about, Vic?
Today, we're going through number 4 and how to grow a network. We've already talked about your target. We've talked about your offer proposition. We've talked about marketing. Now we're going to talk about how to actually get a client, how to go from this is my marketing to having conversations with clients and landing a client.
It's the first person you're going to sell at a sales job is the guy who you're trying to get the sales job from, right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
like, you need to understand that, like, if you were to tell a prospect, "Hey, are you buying?" and that's like the first thing that comes out of your mouth, like, and they're actively looking at 100 different options, your chances are pretty fucking low if you meet all the criteria they're looking for, because I'm sure these guys do as well,
Right.
right? You want to know how to have that conversation in a way where you can convert. And it's the same process as like sales, right? I don't think that you would be applying for a sales job if you didn't understand sales, but if you did, shame on you. Like, here's what you do, right? Like, you need to understand it's similar to marketing, but understand who you're talking to and understand what they value, right? Something we talk about a lot on this channel. Understand what the person in front of you values and understand what they're looking for. And then if you can have them realize that you can offer that without saying it directly, it becomes their idea. And your chances of converting the sale increase by 1,000,000 times.
Oh, yeah.
So how can we do this practically, Victor? What are some tips for the audience on how they could do this in a practical way?
Yeah, I think the first thing that we do wrong is we assume that this is, how do I say this? We assume it's a big deal, right? We assume that talking to the business owner is this end all be all, like, oh no, we put all this fear and excitement into it. In reality, it's just having another conversation in your day. It's having a
Yep.
conversation, yes, with a high net worth person, yes, with someone who can offer you something in return. But if you come to him as someone with someone to offer as something to offer as well, then you're on the same level playing field. You know he has a need
Yep.
and you know you can fill it
Yep.
because you've been doing the work necessary to figure out who you're talking to. So now you know, hey, you've got a need, I can fill it. I've got a need, you can fill it. We're on an equal playing field here. It doesn't matter how much you make or what your name is or what you've done in the past. What matters is you've got a need that I can fill. And when we first start
Exactly.
there, then all of the drama, all of the anxiety, all of the stress that comes with talking to business owners when you're not prepared, when you're just out looking for a job instead of providing value, is out the window because you're like, listen, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know what, my addition to your business would mean for your business. It would mean for you. I understand what that's going to do for you. So with that understanding in mind, what can you do for me? And how
Yep.
can we help each other? And when you think of it in that term, those terms, it kind of just makes everything easier.
Yep. Is it okay if I shift the audience perspective for a little
Shift it.
bit? Okay, so I want you guys to understand this, right? How do you get a lot of money? It's you're investing a whole bunch of time and energy in the direction of getting a lot of money, right? How do you get a lot of muscles? You invest a lot of time and energy into getting a lot of muscles. How do you have an amazing family life? You invest a lot of time and energy into having a great family life, right? Like, how do you have a clean lawn? Time and energy, same thing, right? Like, understand that if somebody's super competent in one area, there's probably other areas that they're not as competent in. So if you can do a quick visualization, okay, he's rich, he's fucking loaded, he's got a bit of a belly. Like look for some of these things where people aren't amazing and realize they're human. Like, he's got a like. Have you seen Elon Musk in that picture of him at a freaking yacht? Like, he doesn't look like 100 bazillion billionaire, but he is because he puts all his time and energy into money. These guys that you're talking to, that you're idolizing, they're freaking god. Guess what? You may find out that he's in the middle of a divorce. You may find out that he has horrible social skills. You may, right? Like this guy's awkward, right? Like, don't put somebody into a pedestal because they're ahead of you in one area. I guarantee that you're 1,000,000 times better than them in a whole bunch of different things. So yeah, don't go into a meeting with a freak. You know what I mean? Like, just don't do
Yeah.
that. If you're going in with that perspective, you're defeated from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just another conversation. Continue.
Yeah. JD from UCM, we've had him on the podcast before, but he likes to say, you're coming with an offer of value. You're positioning yourself as a business owner. So when you do
Yep.
that, you're coming business owner to business owner, and you're doing business on this call or this DM or, this Zoom. So when you're doing business with someone, you're coming at an equal plane. My business, your business. How can we work together? How can we make better business in general? Um,
Yep.
I always say Google doesn't partner with people that aren't going to grow Google's bottom line, that aren't going to be good for Google's business. So
100%.
a business owner isn't going to hire you if you don't have enough value in your business conversation to make them want to bring you on. Right. So when you come into these DMs or these phone calls, all of these, oh, so yeah, I just want to find a company and sell, and I'm the best salesman ever, and I can sell 80% of your calls. Like, I had a guy message me one time being like, hey, I can sell 80%. I can sell 80% of your calls, blah, 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 blah. First of all, he had done no marketing. He didn't have a value
Yep.
proposition clear at all. He did not target me well because he had no idea who I was. So
Yep.
all these steps we've been talking about are leading up to this. How do I connect with someone? Well, if you've done everything before, connecting with someone's easy
They should be
because
reaching out to you.
exactly through
Dude.
connections you've made through your marketing, through,
Yep.
you know, responding to your value propositions that you've put out there, to being
Yep.
around you just by who you've targeted. They
Yep.
should be coming to you, they should be talking to you, or you guys should be in conversations together in groups or
Yep.
in DMs or in message threads.
Yep.
It's not difficult. What's up, guys? This video is brought to you by Shady Rays, the company where I get these blue light glasses and all of my sunglasses, as well as these blue ray glasses here. Right now, for listeners of Sales at Home podcast, you get $20 off your first order at shadyrays.com. And the link is in the bio. Go right now and get yourself some Shady Rays. They are amazing blue light glasses, really great sunglasses as well. They also have prescription glasses there for you to order as well. Right now, for our listeners, like I said, go to our link in the bio and get yourself some Shady Rays right now, $20 off your first order.
Yep. Dude, they should be saying, I see you everywhere. I just
Yes.
want to reach out and chat. Like,
Yes.
you said this. That's interesting. I'm having a hard time. Like, how did you figure that out? How can I do that? Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's the dude. I had somebody reach out to me like today, right? And I'm like, who's just adding me, sending me a message? The
Yeah.
fuck? And so I click on their profile and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They run a 7-figure coaching company. Oh, no, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, right. And what's the message say? I see you everywhere, right? And
Yep.
it's like, yo, you wanna be heard, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the beauty of social media is it takes away volume. So it literally it takes away volume. Like it's not about who's literally the loudest. It's
Yeah.
just about who shows up. And so if you post more than anybody else, that alone you're putting it in front of people. If they respond to it or engage with it at all, now everybody sees your stuff. If
Yeah.
anybody literally, because everybody see, bro, people like I got 0 likes, I got 10 likes. Everybody saw it. I don't care if Facebook
Yeah.
says you got 8 impressions. 800 people saw it. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't the I think the likes and the comments are like vanity metrics. Like, dude, it's literally how many people actually saw it, and chances are it's a fuck ton, right? So if your
Yeah.
marketing's on point, the interview, it should be easy, it should be smooth. But even if they don't know who the hell you are, like you should know who they are, right? And if you have somebody on your calendar, that means you've had enough time to warm them up. And if you haven't, now you really got to ask questions because you don't know who the fuck they are. And you don't even know if
Yeah.
they're worth you being nervous about. Oh, he's
Right.
a billionaire, so I'm nervous. You don't even know if like you're gonna help him or not. So what's there to be nervous about?
Yeah.
Right?
Nervousness and sales do not go hand in hand. They don't
At
mix.
all.
So if you're going to be nervous on your sales calls, if you're going to be nervous
Don't take
on,
it.
your DMs, like don't take it. Push it
Yeah.
off. And I tell you one thing, if you're nervous in interviews, if you're nervous to make DMs or to chat people up, it translates and people see that and owners see that. And because they see it, they don't want anything to do with you. And
But
so, yeah,
but if you're brand new, right? If you're brand new, right? What do these owners look for, right? This is back to understanding who you're, if you, what,
Yep.
right? They want somebody who's trustworthy. They want
Yep.
somebody who's hardworking, right? He's like, hey, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty fucking nervous. I'm going to explain to you why. Because I'm new to the industry. I haven't been doing sales for that long. And I want to communicate that because transparent honesty is important to me. And right, I'm looking for a company that can give me a place to grow. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. Right? Use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
You know, but don't just be nervous and let them see that you're nervous. And now you're like, oh my god, they think I'm nervous. No, they know you're nervous, and you're not saying
Yeah.
anything about it.
Yeah.
Right? So
There's a
use it
difference
to
between being nervous and being tactful with what you've been given. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
if you're new to it and you know how to phrase that and you know how to put that into the space, like say, like you just said, hey, I'm a little bit wary about this because I am newer to the space and I haven't been doing this long, but I'm looking for some company that'll help me grow. And because all of these things are important to me, blah, blah, blah. However you phrase that, it's going to
yeah,
determine whether or not they look past it. But,
yeah,
but if we've done our targeting, we've done our offer prop, we've done our marketing, that's not going to matter. You can only
yeah,
say something like that if you've done all of the things that lead up to this, right? People that
yeah,
if you've been watching for the last couple of weeks and you're just like, oh yeah, well they've been just been talking about different things. No, we said steps. These are 5 steps to grow a network. And in order
yeah,
to get to where you want to be, in order to get to the top, you've got to take the steps to get there. And
yeah,
we've talked the steps, we've walked you through the steps each week on purpose. Their placement is purposeful. So that way, if you
yeah,
follow and you do that, by the time it's time for you to get on an actual call with a business owner, you're ready. And they're ready because they know you. They've been warmed up to you. They now have an understanding of who you are. You've just
yeah,
built yourself a warm inbound lead.
yeah. And if you have the skill set with like people that you're marketing for, you're going to be able to build that skill set within the lead, within
Yeah.
their marketing ecosystem for yourself. Because if you're not getting enough fucking inbound calls, you can start to create them by calling leads and having them go through specific videos that get them really warm, and then having a call with them where you can close them. Right? All
Yep.
marketing is it's literally, bro. People talk about warm inbound leads, dude. You show somebody 2 or 3 videos, they become a warm inbound. You
Yeah.
know, you show them 2 or 3 of the right videos that speak to like what they want, like they're gonna warm up. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, dude. I mean, literally, if you did everything that we talked about in steps 1 through 3, this should be a breeze. But if not, or if you just want to sharpen it up, like here's a couple of things that you could do to make your interviews on point. Right. Number one, go into it from a curiosity standpoint. Right. So you jump on the call with them for the first time. You're curious, right? Obviously, be warm, like, hey, like, you know, how's your day? Like where are you? Right? Cool. But as soon as you're done with that, right? Like you want to start almost having the energy of the leader because sometimes they're like, nope, my questions, right? A lot of the time they're like especially if they kind of know you, they kind of seen your stuff, they feel a little confident about you. They don't want to just get past. People do that when they don't want to waste their time, right? Straight to my questions, right? If they think that you're already somebody who could help them, they're gonna be like, okay, cool, yeah, you lead the way, and you can be like, hey, so I really want to get to understand your business to see what areas I can provide and value the most. From what I saw in one of your posts, it looks like sales might be an issue, but I want to just explore a couple of things. Can you tell me a little bit more about like your marketing process? How are you getting leads? How long you've been in business? What do you need? Right? Like that alone, you're demonstrating that you're able to lead a conversation and ask questions, right?
Yeah.
Even though the other person is supposed to be of somebody of a higher status than you, you're able to lead conversations with people that are maybe more well off than you or in higher positions of power. Because for most good offers, right, you're talking to people that are millionaires or that are making good money. And so they're looking for somebody who can handle that. So right away, you're showing that with that energy of asking your questions, leading the interaction, right? Something else is being flexible. Like, tell me not, right? If they're asking questions too, don't just say, I don't answer those questions. I am asking back, right? Don't be a dick. Show that you have
Yeah.
conversational fluidity. Explain why you're doing what you're doing. You know, just the more you can demonstrate your sales ability, like in that conversation, because they're looking for a salesman, right? The higher chance you have of landing the gig. So just a couple
Yeah.
different ways that you could go about making sure the interview's great. I got more, but Vic, what else you got for me?
Yeah. So I would say there are 3 big things, and I love interviews. I love teaching interviews. I love going through them. But if we're gonna chop this down to the most simplest form, the 3 big things that you need in an interview. You've already, warmed your client up. You've already talked to them. Now you're here, right? You
Yep.
need to be an expert communicator. I don't care what your accent is. I don't care where you come from. At this point in time, you need to be an expert communicator. And that is your duty to make sure that you are the best version of yourself that you can be. So
Yep.
communicating to the best of your ability and beyond is exactly what you need at that moment. At that moment, because what you're doing, you're coming onto a job where you're trying to explain to people, hey, I communicate for a living. I help
Yep.
people get to where they want to be by communicating with them. So if you can't show that you're an expert communicator from the jump, you've already lost the job. Number two, you need to do your research. Do as much research as you can. And I'm going to say it 50 times. I've already said it 50 times because you've done the steps to get to where you are right now. That's easy, right? I've talked to a few people in this space who are doing it, and we've come to a consensus. 20 hours of research for a job that you really want, for something that you really want to dive into, for something that you've been warming up, for something that you've done your market research for, you've done your marketing, you've hit your value props, you've targeted. 20 hours of research is minimal. And it's just like anything else, right? When you go to school, you get the syllabus in the beginning of the school year, and it says this is what we're going to be covering. You don't wait till the final and then cram all of that 20 hours into studying for that. No, if you go over topics as you go and you do things as you go to prepare yourself, by the time that final comes, you're ready, right? That's the whole point of it.
Yep.
So the whole point of following these steps is by the time this comes, your research, you've done your research, you know what you're talking about, because you're getting
Yep.
on a call. And let's flip it. Let's get on a, I'm a prospect and I'm coming on a call with you and this company that you love so much. And I'm asking you
Yep.
questions and you know nothing about it. What
Yep.
does that look like to the prospect? I'm not going to buy it because you know nothing about this company.
Yep.
Now, as a business owner, if I have a closer, setter, a salesperson trying to come in and they're interviewing with me and they know nothing about my company, it's like, okay, do they really want to work for me, or do they just want another job? You
Yep.
know, who makes the biggest impression is the person who knows what they want. And then the third thing is poise. If you and you touched on it, being able to mirror the energy, being able to have strong conversation skills, being able to have conversational fluidity. That's poise. That's carrying yourself well. That's showing up,
Yep.
dressed nicely with a great background, understanding who you're talking to, being able to communicate, ebb and flow in communications. There's no awkward pauses or anything crazy like that. Those are the three things. So I would say you're an expert communicator, do your research, and have poise. If you can
Take
do those
notes.
things in an interview, you're good. You're solid.
100%. And literally that's it. Like you could overcomplicate it and go into a bunch of stuff, but like literally, dude, like if you like if you're just professional, bro, like if you're, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because most people aren't. Like they're talking like bro, they're having 15 or 20 of those combos and half of the people are like bums, you
Yeah.
know? Like
Yeah.
just do all the little things right, you know?
Yeah.
And I think just more of what you said. I think so much of it comes back to like this person is looking, what is this person looking for that I looked up in my research? And also because I feel like some people might get overwhelmed when they hear 20 hours for one, and I got to talk to a bunch. Guys, the whole point is that you understand, right? Imagine you have a piece of paper and you have little like fill in like boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You want to fill in all the boxes. Mr. Business Owner, I understand box is very valuable to you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to be able to do that and bring that up at will. So fill in those boxes,
Mr.
right?
Business Owner, you've got personnel issues. I understand you have box in these positions already. I
Yep.
believe I could come in and supplement box to make sure that A, B, C, and D are being fulfilled, getting their job done correctly, yada, yada, yada.
Which is going to allow you to be able to box because I
Yes,
know that's your mission statement and that's why
exactly.
you got in business, right? Like you just
Right.
want to fill in all those boxes, bro. If you fill in those boxes and you understand their content, you've watched some of the videos, you've read all their shit, like you're golden, bro. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's when you come in with your fucking pants down, not knowing what the fuck, like that's when it doesn't
Yeah,
work out, you
exactly.
know?
And it's like you said, you could get into super detail and really dive into it and do master classes and all of these things, which are great and they're needed and they're useful. However,
Mhm.
if you boil it down to the most simple thing, which is exactly what we're trying to do with this series, the most simple thing that you can do is communicate well, know what's going on, and just show up ready. Be poised.
Yeah.
Have that energy. Like if you can do that, and it doesn't just translate to interviews. If you do that on your sales calls, if you do that when you're in the DMs, if you take those 3 principles and apply them to anything you're doing in life, like you'll be successful.
100%. Bro, it's crazy, man. I was talking about this the other day. Like sales is the perfect way to get into like personal development, because
Oh
sales
yeah.
is literally just a personal development journey, right? Like, dude, every sales, I've been in some of the biggest or some of the best sales companies in the space, right? And like, dude,
Yeah.
like, bro, you should see the training. Did you journal this morning? Did you go over your goals? Are you drinking water? Where's the sales training? This
Yeah.
is the sales training,
Yeah.
right? Like, yo, like, did you work out? Did you wake up at the time you said you were gonna wake up? Have you fulfilled the promises you've made to yourself? Like, it's sales. 4 years of sales is much better business school than 4 years of business school.
Hmm.
Most people I know that went into that came out fucking alcoholics. They came out with like DUIs. They came out with kids. Nothing wrong with kids, but if you're not planning on it, you're fucking broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
How you do one thing is how you do everything, right?
yeah, dude,
So
for
how you
real.
set yourself up on these interviews is how you're going to show up on your sales calls. How you position yourself in the market is how you're going to show up on interviews. It's just the way it is. And it's
Yep.
so much so the way it is that you'll have people who will not even get on interviews with you if you don't have the qualities you're looking for. The company that I'm with now, they tell me, they're like, hey, if you look over this person's form and intro video and it doesn't seem like they're going to be quality just from that, don't even get on the call with them.
Yep.
And I'm like, all I'm doing is taking interviews, right? I'm just taking interviews and passing people through to get positions, right? But it's
Getting
like
paid.
if you don't show up, like if you don't show up from the jump, why would I take you
Yep.
serious?
Yep.
It tells
And
me
it's
that you don't know
usually
what you're doing.
and it's usually pretty accurate. Like,
Yeah,
dude, I've done hiring before too, and I have if I have 110 applications, right? There's a screening process, and step
yeah,
one is like, how does this person present themselves, right?
yeah,
And usually, like I've personally like cut off like 40, 50 people from getting hired just from like their intro video, just
yeah,
from that, like, you know what I mean? Like just simple
yeah,
stuff. So when people say, why do you care about the simple stuff? Isn't it the big picture that matters? Well, that's true. But how do you go to block? How do you go to brick house, one brick at a time, right? What if
yeah,
those bricks are all fucking shaped like stars and dirty, right? Like you're not gonna
yeah,
have a house. You know, it's not gonna
right,
be one worth keeping or living in.
right.
So it's the same concept. Um, but guys, I wanna keep this short because
Yeah,
like that's really all there is to interviews. Like it really is like do everything we said in the first 3 steps and have a conversation and ask questions.
yeah.
If you do that, I don't see how you couldn't absolutely crush your interview.
You're
And make
golden.
sure and make sure that you have a like there's controversy and I know there's some cases. In general, if you want to feel good about yourself going into a role, feel confident that you can deliver on what like if it's marketing, right? They need help with marketing, like be able to fulfill on that. Either you know somebody to fulfill, you can fulfill. Like if it's sales, at least be confident that you're able to fulfill. You know what I mean? Like if
Hmm.
you have that base level of confidence, you can talk like a business owner. And that's all we're saying. Talk like a business owner, right? So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Any last statements, Victor, before we jump off?
Nope. I'm excited to talk about week 5 next week, which is
Very
follow
big.
up, because that
Yep.
is huge. That's make or break there. But yeah, man,
Yep.
love this. We'll keep it short because, like you said, that's all you really need to know.
That's all you need.
Show up right, show up prepared, and you'll be fine.
That's it.
All right, man.
Fine as hell. Come on, guys. All right.